we often will be tested with our speech and will be tested under pressure in how we respond. He wanted to see what this man of God was going to do when he took that hammer and banged it against his thumb. What was going to come out of his mouth?
This is a Truth Transforms Truth Nugget, a daily dose of truth for your daily transformation.
I imagine if your speech was printed out, and let's say the whole week even was printed out, and we were to bring it here and present it at church, you might want to rip a few pages out. You might want to go edit some parts of that book. I'm quite sure that you all are speak godly most of the time, and I'm quite sure there would be things in that book that are gracious, but I'm also pretty confident there will be things in that book you wish were not there to be seen by others. Godly speech is pretty important. We need to be growing in godly speech. There's a story about a man that followed around a preacher at his house. The preacher had a hammer in his hand, and he followed him around all over the place while he's fixing things. What was he waiting for? Well, he was waiting for him to hit his thumb. He wanted to see what this man of God was going to do when he took that hammer and banged it against his thumb. What was going to come out of his mouth? We often will be tested with our speech and will be tested under pressure in how we respond. So we need to grow in a consistency of godly speech. We need to control our tongue. We need to watch our speech. So an unbridled tongue can manifest itself in many ways. What does it look like for you to have an unbridled tongue? What does it look like when you don't control your tongue? It can manifest itself in different ways. It might be a loss of temper that turns into harsh speech and insults. It might be bitterness overflowing from your heart, because we know out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. It might come out in complaining and grumbling and ungratefulness. But basically anything that's not good and upbuilding, as Paul talked about in Ephesians 29, what's not fit for the occasion, what's not appropriate, what's not giving grace to others, we could file it under the category of ungodly speech. And I'm quite sure we all have a ways to go there. And so Paul's not saying that if you ever speak ungodly that you've got a false religion and you're not a Christian, but we should be growing in that area, and we should be growing so that our speech is consistently more godly and consistently more gracious. And if God's doing a work in your life, you'll be seeing that growth. But James wants to remind us speech is pretty important. And we need to move away from sinful speech and move forward in more godly speech.